Today, I want to go over the concept of inner queries, which is basically instead of having all these many steps on the side, you concatenate them in one step. This makes sense if you have simple steps, like maybe here I have a date column and I want to extract the month and the month name and the weekday name and whether it's a working day or weekend. For this data set, I'm just going to do some basic transformations. Power Query already added a change type step, but in this data set, which I got from Kaggle, the date is in American, so I need to swap around the day and month using locale. And then I can add some extra steps, like maybe I want to apply a filter because this specific table should only be for one city. So I could add a filter to this column and then I could sort them based on date. It doesn't really matter what the steps are. In this case, I just want to show the principle. So now I have all of these steps and I can then choose to combine them into one step. And the easiest way to do it is to go into Advanced Editor because here I have access to all the steps and then all I have to do is copy this. And then I basically have to copy this syntax where I have the let and in, and the principle is the same as when you make variables in Power Query, because effectively each step is one variable in the whole query, which means I can replace this code with let, and then followed by all of my steps, and then followed by in, and then the name of the last step, which is then the step that I'll be printing. And you can see how it's actually a lot harder to read, especially when you have a change type step. So when you have a change type step, I wouldn't want to combine it in an inner query. I would want to do that outside. But for the sake of showing, I want to keep it. Now this second step has actually produced the same outcome as I would get from the sorted row steps if I were to duplicate this query and then make the promote headers normal again. Then the outcomes of these two queries is going to be the same once I've removed these extra steps. So you can decide whether you want to have these 5 steps or whether you want to concatenate them into one. And again, I wouldn't add a change type step to this inner query because this is very difficult to read. And if you have a missing column, it's going to give you an error and it might be harder to fix that error. But when you have simple steps, like I mentioned, where you want to extract date, the month and the day of the week and so on, then it might make sense to combine them into one inner query because it reduces the number of total steps. But that was everything. Yep.